Hello everyone and now welcome to a game between Focus versus Infi. This game, well, there we go. This game taking place here on Twisted Meadows, a rather large matchup, map. And Twisted Meadows, perhaps one of the largest maps, allowing for multiple expansions and just a variety of creeping and play. Focus has spawned as the red orc off over here. Meanwhile, we see Infi has spawned off over here as the yellow orc playing random. And I believe this is not actually a NetEase ladder match. I believe this is the DreamHack Asia qualifier. Let me go ahead and double check that for you. Yeah, DreamHack WarCraft 3 Open Asia qualifier. Hence the reason why Infi is yellow instead of blue. If that Null Warden was cleared, the expansion would have been up in that whole yep, that is true. So a Null Warden in that previous game, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, definitely check out Colorful versus WFZ. If my games are numbered, it should be the WC number that is right before this one. It does take a little bit of time for me to number my games though. Anyways, let's look at the matchup. It is going to be a Farseer going up against a Farseer in this 1v1 game here. Farseer versus Farseer, as both sides pretty much building the same exact buildings. No one trying to use that, well, Blade Master trick in order to trap this rock golem in between some buildings and then just quickly clearing it out. A little bit surprised by that. Anyways, losing because of creeps is tilting. I think Colorful, if he saw the mini map, he should have known that the creep camp was still there. He didn't clear it out himself, and I think he just assumed that creep camp had been cleared out by his opponent. And well, assuming that you have enough information, and assuming, well, it causes a lot of problems. You end up making poor decisions based on incorrect data. And that's why it's often better to have no data than bad data. You can't make the incorrect decision if you don't have information. If you have bad data, you may think, you know what? Oh, that creep camp was already cleared out. I can just go there, build a tree of life, and then start building my expansion. All right, Farsi, you're going to go ahead, put in some early aggression already. We are looking at a second Orc Burrow being added, and Orc Burrow is incredibly important in the Orc matchup. And these Orc Burrows are also very vulnerable. And anytime you're able to delay an Orc Burrow, what you end up doing, well, let's take a look at this. Down to 27 hit points. It is just constantly getting repaired, and wow, we'll end up staying alive right there. The double Spirit Wolves not enough to try and finish it off. All right, Null. Farseer is taking a little bit of damage back here. More grunts are getting added off. I don't know why Infi's information is not revealed off to me. That is a little bit frustrating, as I don't have his gold. All right, I'll have to be making assumptions throughout the match here, and not actually even clicking on his units. I cannot see that. All right, a little bit of issue with the overlay as the Spirit Wolves are now joining back in on the fight. So far, Infi continuing with all of that little bit of pressure is going to be able to make its rounds. Infi down to 123 hit points as the Farseer trying to finish off that Farseer trying to finish off the Farseer down to 70 hit points and now looking to run all the way back. Meanwhile, Spirit Wolves are going to be diving back in. As you remember, this Orc Burrow had taken a little bit of damage. However, going after the peons now instead, as this Farseer down to 82 hit points and now bringing in a fresh set of Spirit Wolves to try and put pressure inside the base. Meanwhile, the double Spirit Wolves still chasing after Farseer's Infi's Farseer, as we're looking at the grunt now trying to make its way back out. All right, Voodoo Lounge currently under construction. This is actually a very big deal. If this Voodoo Lounge doesn't get up and operational, well, that means that Infi's Farseer is going to be staying at low hit points for much longer, and at a low hit point Farseer Farseer means that it's practically going to be shut down for a little bit of time unless he wants to risk a 100 hit point unit. All right, units now making their way back off to the north here. That Voodoo Lounge is down to 18 hit points. Are we going to see the Farseer try and put pressure? That is the question, as we are still looking at, well, Spirit Wolves constantly being resummoned off on the other side here. We do not see any Voodoo Lounge coming across here, as we're looking at a Shadow Hunter being trained up. Is it a Shadow Hunter as well? Yes, exactly, a Shadow Hunter. And the Shadow Hunter choice here over the Tauren Chieftain may be because you are afraid that you're not going to be able to heal up your units. A Shadow Hunter offering the ability to heal at tier 2 as your second hero choice, especially as that Voodoo Lounge is constantly being cancelled and rebuilt by both sides. Both players realizing how important that Voodoo Lounge is for the overall health of that army, as the barracks is, well, the Voodoo Lounge once again shut down once more. It is death of a Voodoo Lounge over and over and over again. Coming back off to the side, Spirit Lodge now going to be in trouble here. We are looking at the Shadow Hunter making its rounds out here. This Shadow Hunter could perhaps get in a quick hex, but it's most likely going to be going for Healing Wave here in just a second, as the units will need to try and find a way to heal back up. Did the Shadow Hunter go for a Hex first? Yes, it in fact did go for a Hex first. Meanwhile, Infi's Shadow Hunter has yet to train up an ability. All right, this is so far extremely interesting. We are now, 6 minutes into this game, and it is our first level 2 hero and after so long. Infi and going for that Healing Wave instead, and that Shadow Hunter with that Healing Wave going to be able to keep that Farseer in that battle much longer. We are looking at perhaps this Shadow Hunter trying to get to level 2 as well in order to heal up his brother in arms. Good morning, good evening, good morning, good day, good evening, and good night. Yeah, and I can't even quote anything correctly right now. Shadow Hunter looking to continue to finish off the rest of this creep camp here. Shadow Hunter wants to get to level 2 for that Hex. Meanwhile, Spirit Wolves are going to quickly find out where his opponent is, and it's going to turn into a creep jack situation. Rock Golem get taken down. Potion of Greater Healing is picked up. Farseer, Shadow Hunter, quickly running in from behind, is going to be able to get one of those headhunters. Yes, it will. Getting one unit at this point incredibly helpful, as it gives level 2 to the Shadow Hunter here. Forest Troll Berserker joining in on the fight as well. Perhaps they're going to try and finish off the remainder of this creep camp here, as well. We are getting some healing salves onto that Shadow Hunter as well. Coming back down on the bottom left hand side of the map, quick ensnare coming in from the Forest Troll Trapper. Shadow Hunter gets the level 2, and we are sitting at a level 2 versus level 1 level 2. Farseer of Infi getting closer to level 3 here. These two Ogre Warriors and Forest Troll Trapper should be able to get to level, or get very close to level 3, if not get there, as that Forest Troll Trapper, well, Spirit Wolf joining in for a little bit of additional harassment. Normally, the Farseer is already at level 3 at this point, and this creep camp would be easy with level 2 Spirit Wolves, but that just wasn't the case. We'll finally get to level 3 here, as the Shadow Hunter and Farseer do need to head back home, head to that Voodoo Lounge here, get some healing salves and some clarity potions. We are looking at a Spirit or a Tauren Totem. Now with Spirit Walker Adept training, we are only at Stronghold, and also we are not getting the fortified upgrades on those burrows as of yet. That is a bit curious, considering that Infi does have a bunch of headhunters, and now Kodobi is trying to join in on the fight here. All right, Scroll of Town Portal quickly taking or moving away from the battle, as we're looking at Raiders, Spirit Walkers, Grunts all working together here. We are teching to tier 3 by Infi, no tech to tier 3 by Focus yet, and well, I still don't know what the supply count is for Infi. I would assume it is about the same so far. Looking at the overall buildings, it is over 50 supplies, so both sides are in low upkeep right now. No one has bothered to set up an expansion, as well. We may see Infi do that as we get to tier 3 with that tiny Great Hall. All right, Farseer, Shadowhunter looking to clear out another Ogre Magi creep camp off to the north, perhaps get a powerful consumable item. Meanwhile, Focus is already coming in from the opposite end. And what is this? The Shadowhunter with double robes of Magi, and that is going to give him a tremendous amount of mana. Level 2 healing wave and pretty much mana for days, 510 mana compared to 285. That is an incredibly large difference, and once you factor in the additional mana regeneration on that Shadowhunter, you could easily argue that the Shadowhunter has twice as much mana as his opponent. Raiders now coming across here, gonna get in some damage on those Orc Burrows. Surprisingly funny that the Burrow upgrade would actually increase the amount of damage it takes because of the Raiders trying to fight and the minimal amount of other units. All right, Lightning Shield coming across here. Lightning Shield on the Grunts and Headhunters in the back. We should be looking at Healing Wave bouncing around, and look how little mana was used in that casting on that overall bar here. More damage coming across. There goes level 3 onto that Shadowhunter. We're going to see some more healing as well. Level 3 versus level 3. More Healing Wave bouncing around as we see Lightning Shield getting cast across multiple units once more. Chain Lightning trying to bounce in some additional damage. Healing Wave bouncing again the opposite way, and it is really the constant healing waves of Focus coupled with the damage from that Lightning Shield, well, actually taking out one of his own units there, that could cause problems. Shadowhunter trying to back away as well. Infi trying to pull back. Where is that red Shadowhunter? I cannot see. Oh, there it is. Still having 220 mana. You can see that mana regeneration, how fast it is. More healing coming across here, and we're going to be looking at more healing wave coming back again as well. Shadowhunter finally out of mana. This Farseer has a Talisman of Evasion. Lightning Shield. There goes a Hex to try to finally take it down as the Farseer is taken out there. All of that additional mana coming in from that Shadowhunter having a great impact. Focus sitting at 41 supply, pushing across onto the other side here as a Grunt is also being digested. All right, damage slowly being added up, finally out of mana after what seemed like a 2-minute battle. Constant healing waves within the occasional Hex or two, making its impact relatively strong. Farseer having 90 mana. Are we going to be summoning in more Spirit Wolves as we're looking at level 4 now on the Shadowhunter. Level 4 Shadowhunter with 36 intelligence. Very powerful indeed. As well, we are still looking at more healing wave bouncing around. It almost feels like that Shadowhunter has Brilliance Aura just because of how much mana it is getting regenerated constantly as the Kodo Beast, well, eats another Grunt and now is on its way back home. All right, Infi having to think about what its follow-up plans are going to be. Orc Burrow was lost for a little bit, making it difficult to try and retrain up any units as those units were lost, and a definite victory for Focus in that battle. How is Focus going to follow up this play? That is the question left. Yes, Metaphysics, you missed the game. I ended up casting a little bit early today, so yep, that's the reason. Anyways, coming back across here, Ensnares coming down, Rock Golem, Ogre Warriors, all of this engagement going on. Shadowhunter, if it gets to level 5 with the amount of intelligence and mana-based items on that Shadowhunter, it would be a profound impact. We'll see whether or not he goes back home, buys some potions of mana, and then uses them after dropping those Robe of Magi's to get back up to 500 mana again. That would be huge. Every replay worked fine. I've only done 2 of the 3, and I only have time for 2 of the 3 today. As we're looking at the Null Overseer gonna get finished off here. All right, we are going into tier 3. I don't see any expansion attempts. We are going into a Tauren Chieftain, however. So Infi is going for a Tauren Chieftain as his 3rd hero. That is going to be, interesting to say the least, as it feels like we're already very deep into this game. If that Tauren Chieftain gets enough leveling and can creep enough, it will have a very big impact. Meanwhile, I guess, Infi must suspect that he is going to be under attack here in just a moment and already retreating back before clearing out this creep camp. He did pick up a very powerful item in that Devotion Aura. Gonna be picking up that very powerful item in Devotion, or a little bit more longevity for all of these units, as we see a couple purges go down onto those Spirit Wolves. Tauren Chieftain does have Stomp. Are we going to see him put his foot down? Yes, he does. Stomp with Lightning Shield. That is only level 1 Stomp, but the damage was absolutely impactful there. Lightning Shield doing it again and again. More Healing Wave coming back around, but that Tauren Chieftain with 2 Stomps and a Lightning Shield, much bigger than I thought it would be. Healing Wave trying to keep that Tauren Chieftain alive. Lightning Shield doesn't actually give you armor. Tauren Chieftain, well, 2 Stomps, a Lightning Shield before getting taken out, as Focus losing a good number of units in this battle so far. Grunt now going to get ensnared though. Kodo Beast doesn't have anything in its belly. Serpent Ward going to get taken down, as Focus perhaps going to try and continue this here. We are now looking at Spiked Barricades. All right, not the upgrade that I was expecting. Spiked Barricades adding or reflecting or causing a little bit of damage back to the other side too. Bloodlust coming in, Bloodlust coming in as well, but there's not really that many units. Only the heroes are going to benefit from that Bloodlust. Bloodlusting a Shaman really not going to be that important, as the Headhunters do not even have the Berserker upgrade. They are down on hit points and on attack speed, as the level 5 Shadow Hunter coming in from Focus with those healing waves and also a Scroll of Healing. So much longevity items. 48 supply compared to what I'd have to estimate or guesstimate around, what, 38 or 36 right now, considering that he doesn't have that much really going for him. So those Spiked Barricades will be incredibly helpful. Barracks trying to be rebuilt. Altar of Storms looking to be rebuilt as well. And I am surprised that Focus has not set up an expansion of his own. This is the perfect opportunity. He has the gold to set up an expansion pretty easily, as we are now getting into Taurens with Pulverize. Spirit Wolves doing a lot of scouting out across the map as well. We are looking at the Farseer perhaps trying to get to level 5. We have Bloodlust on all of these units right there, perhaps trying to attack a little bit faster. There's a couple of purges as that Forest Troll Warlord trying to make its way back as well. All right, a lot of Shaman. There goes that, well, Bloodlust. Farseer will be able to attack much more quickly. Same thing with that Shadow Hunter. Important to try and get to that next level, or perhaps pick up some powerful items indeed. Is Infi going to be able to pick up and just win this game by creeping out all of these powerful creep camps? Farseer picks up Khadgar's Gem of Health, an additional 300 hit points that could be given to the Tauren Chieftain, who would then, well, at level 1 have close to, what, 900 hit points? Or no, 1,000 hit points at level 1. And with a Ring of Protection, would be rather scary. All right, Voodoo Lounge. Well, Voodoo Lounge is pretty much in play right there. Tauren Chieftain going to try to make its way back out. There is that Bloodlust. Tauren Chieftain going to try to dive on in here. Units are all going to try and head away. Are we going to see a Stomp? And we are just trying to get into position. There is the Stomp. There's that Lightning Shield. And that Chain Lightning just dancing damage all back around. There we did see, well, I believe we saw a cancellation there, as we see more Chain Lightning still bouncing all across these units. Damage is still rather high. Shaman are getting taken down. Chain Lightning being used against. Serpent Wards being placed in the back, but they're not actually close enough to engage against anything right now, as a Headhunter is going to use a Scroll of Speed, or get the Scroll of Speed buff to escape away. Infi is in trouble. Going to end up losing a couple of Shaman here. A little bit of last-minute Lightning Shield to try and stay alive, but that's not going to work out well. Infi setting up that expansion over here on the bottom left, as I suspected, in addition to, well, getting into low upkeep. Things are not looking good for Infi at this point. Even with Spiked Barricades, well, the Farseer and the Raiders may be able to get in a lot of damage, as that, what, Shadow Hunter still has a large amount of mana. Double Robes of Magi really keeping this Shadow Hunter topped off on mana throughout this matchup. All right, we're looking at the Farseer in that frontline position. Tauren Chieftain does have some mana, has Khadgar's Gem of Health, 1,000 hit points on a level 1 Tauren Chieftain with 8 armor between Devotion Aura and Ring of Protection. That is a very, very beefy Tauren Chieftain indeed, as he uses a Potion of Healing. You can see all of those units are just trying to surround him and take him down. He is fighting next to a Voodoo Lounge, though, so that is actually hazardous to your health. And if you do not realize, well, the survivability items on the Tauren Chieftain, you may try to focus on him too much. the Shadow Hunter of Infi is just constantly healing, waving that Tauren Chieftain, making that so much stronger. The Tauren Chieftain still sitting at level 1 though, as well Taurens are now starting to join in and reinforcing from Focus's side. Infi not making this game easy for Focus at all. You would normally think that Focus, hey, you know what, he has the expansion, he has level 5 heroes, he has a larger supply going up against his opponent. Infi is just not going out without a fight. Tauren Chieftain once again going to go ahead and lead the charge here. Are we going to see a stomp? Not enough mana. Talisman of Evasion. I didn't even account for evasion on that Tauren Chieftain, making things even that much more difficult. However, the slow attrition war and the resurrection from the Spirit Walkers may become far too much. Tauren, all right, here, there's that pulverized, as you can see the Spirit Walkers going into that ethereal form. Taurens leading the charge here. The mastery training on those Spirit Walkers is going to make those Taurens, well, that much more deadly as the Tauren Chieftain gets up to level 2. Level 2 Tauren Chieftain finally has Endurance Aura and now up to almost 1200 hit points, sitting at 93 mana before a stomp goes down, but not really hitting anything as 4 Taurens are walking into an Orc base. Khadgar's Gem of Health dropped and picked back up. I believe a Potion of Healing was used right there. Clarity Potion now on that Shadow Hunter, as the Shadow Hunter of Infi desperately wants to get to level 5 to get to level 3 Healing Wave. Alright, Shadow Hunter is at 5, getting very close to level 6. We're looking at the Farseer army now retreating back. And this is a tactical retreat. Focus was not losing that battle by any stretch of the imagination, but he knows that, well, with units like Tauren and with his heroes low on mana, fighting inside his opponent's base that has a tactical home field advantage because of that Voodoo Lounge, he wasn't going to be able to maintain that advantage for far too long. Overstaying your welcome it often leads to losses if you don't know when to regroup. There is a difference between regrouping and retreating, and this is exactly what Focus is doing here. Alright, even Orc versus Orc is better. Yep, game of mana in the end. Just Infi things. How do you mean Orc versus Orc is better? I don't know if you guys remember Orc versus Orc back in the day. It was a game of like hungry Kodos and towers, and that was it. I mean that was way back in the day, and that was just not very exciting. Here we're seeing a lot of clutch plays, a lot of use of mana on that Shadow Hunter. Look, that the amount of mana on that Shadow Hunter is just absolutely bonkers at this point. 585 mana upper limit. The Shadow Hunter having plus 12 intelligence. You can see how fast its mana is regenerating as well. Bloodlust could be coming into play as well. Tauren Chieftain with Bloodlust can really dive on into any situation here. Infi, while getting caught, being forced to fight away from home at the expansion. This could be the downside here, as the Kodo Beasts are in the back providing a lot of damage bonus for these Taurens. Alright, Shaman, well, trying to stay alive here, ending up getting ensnared. This could be a problem. Chain Lightning bouncing around. Tauren Chieftain does get a stomp off to try and stun down some of those units. Chain Lightning finishes off. Shadow Hunter now up to level 5. Level 3 Healing Wave is available, but doesn't really have the mana to support it. Couple of ensnares from those raiders could go after some low hit point units, as the units are now trying to pull back again. Tauren Chieftain in that frontline spot. There is the stomp followed by that lightning shield. So much damage coming across. There it goes again. Tauren Chieftain able to make these plays consistently, as we see a Hex now go down onto that Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain no longer has the Talisman of Evasion. Very low hit point. Tauren Chieftain now trying to back away, and there is the GG. And why didn't I go to observers if there was observers in this game? I didn't even go to check. All right, silly me. There was observers and I turned off Fog of War thinking it was a ladder match or a DreamHack match without observers. Anyways, I'm doing a quick recap. If you look at the army size, Focus consistently had a larger army than Infi, going up to 81 supply, up into high upkeep, and Infi still was somehow able to keep it close. It wasn't until that last battle away from his own Voodoo Lounge, and not faulting Infi in any way. He needed to protect that expansion, but it was once he wasn't fighting with that home field advantage that Focus was able to finally use his 30 supply advantage to take out his opponent's army. I gotta say thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you guys enjoyed it.